So recently I watched James Hoffmann's video titled A Beginner's Guide to Buying Great Coffee, and I overall thought it was very good and informative, but I didn't think it actually did a very good job at explaining differences in coffee notes or flavors, and how some of these preferences might translate into various coffees they might want to try. And so I wanted to make a video that used the SCAA Flavor Wheel to explain groups of flavors that people might decide they prefer and want to seek out. The coffee market has more options today than ever before. The third wave of coffee has exposed the market to a larger variety of origins, varietals, and roasters. And with that, picking a coffee can feel extremely hard. So it's nice to have a rubric for categorizing flavors you like and don't like when searching for your ideal coffee. Roasters generally use a standardized set of descriptors for the different flavors, or notes, that their roast features. The Specialty Coffee Association organized these descriptors on the SCAA Flavor Wheel. The SCAA Flavor Wheel has 3 levels of granularity. At the center are the most general flavor descriptors, like spices, roasted, sweet, fruity. As you move outwards, you see more specific flavor descriptors on the outer rim of the circle, like cherry, cinnamon, or even pea pod. When using the SCAA Flavor Wheel, the general intention is that you start at the center and work your way out. For example, you might start at fruity as an initial category. Then when considering the other subcategories, notice that berry or citrus don't apply and land on other fruit. Finally, you might then consider apple as a specific flavor note. Now let's talk about some groups of notes and how they might relate to coffees you might want to try. The first set of notes I want to talk about is what I might call crowd pleasers. These notes are types that appeal to a broad variety of audiences. For example, the Nutty cocoa category. Inside of it is the hazelnut note and the chocolate note. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone offended by tastes of nuts or chocolate in their coffee. Another set of notes that falls into this sort of crowd pleasers category are sweet notes. Inside this category is vanillin, which is actually not necessarily like vanilla, but is more reminiscent of marshmallows or cotton candy. I also wanted to draw attention to the cereal category, which people often find desirable in pairing with chocolatey or other sweet flavors. So how do you use this information to help you pick a coffee? Well, you can go to a coffee recommender and put in these notes. I'm using Pete's here because I think they tend to do a pretty good job with these types of flavors, but there's a number of them on the internet. Here I'm selecting press pot French press as my desired brewing style because I think immersion brewers tend to do well with these types of notes. Answer a few more questions, and voila! Pete spits out a recommendation for this Brazil peaberry. It says that the peaberry features a number of the notes we selected, like milk chocolate, hazelnut. Now let's turn to a set of notes that I think is a bit more of an acquired taste. The high acidity section of the wheel, which is sort of right here in the citrus fruit sour area. The sour category contains virtually all acidic notes, like acetic or malic acid, while the citrus fruit category contains a lot of the citrus flavors people commonly associate with acidity, like lemon or lime or even grapefruit. Now let's take a look at another coffee picker, this time on crema.co. For my brew method, I think I'm going to select pour over, since it's a great way to enjoy coffees with high acidity. I'm looking for a light roast, as darker roasts tend to destroy the acidic flavors. Milk often doesn't pair that well with acidic flavors, so I'm going to pick none here. I'm looking for a fruity coffee with citrus acidity, and I'll put high for the acidity level. And here it looks like it's recommended me a number of coffees with citrus acidity. Now I want to talk about a section of the wheel I'm going to refer to as unusual notes. This section here includes notes such as woody or even musty earthy. Many coffee drinkers may initially assume that these are undesirable flavors, but a number of coffees, such as Sumatra, are actually known for their woody or musty flavors. Over at jrcoffee.com, we did a comprehensive review of a number of different Sumatra coffees and judged which was the best. We also put together a YouTube video that compared these coffees with one another. We'll go ahead and put a link to both the article and the video in the description below. And that's about all we had as far as using the flavor wheel in order to pick a great coffee. But before we go, I did want us to talk about a few sections that could conceivably indicate bad coffee. The first couple flavors I want to talk about are Smoky or Ashy. A lot of times these flavors are actually preferable, but if your coffee ends up tasting somewhat like an ashtray, it's probably over roasted. The next set of flavors are Petroleum or Medicinal. These flavors almost always indicate some sort of error in the processing of the beans, usually some sort of solvent that went wrong, especially in decaffeinated coffees. The last two flavors I want to talk about are the Vegetative and underripe notes. As the name suggests, the underripe note can suggest picking of the coffee beans before they're ripe, but these flavors also can suggest an under-roasting of the coffee beans. Well, that wraps it up. We hope this has been a helpful look at the flavor wheel, and we hope we gave you some tools to help you pick your ideal coffee. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons if you found this helpful, and we hope we'll see you for our next video. Thanks for watching.